Hello, this is Neil from Digital Canvas. I just got through doing a two-part series for drawing the lips. You can check my website, digitalcanvas.net16.net, in the description for more free video lessons in different styles of art, digital painting and drawing and stuff, and also even photo editing. Right, so let's get started then with the lips. The first thing you notice here is I'm doing right from a photo. It's just a draw over of a photo because I wanted to save time, although I added my own flair to it to kind of make it more cartoony. But I'm going to make the lips more realistic. Notice that that's all you start with. It's pretty simple, when you're doing like cartoony type stuff, but when you add all the lines over that, if I were to paint all these lines in, it looks really cool. Right, so I'm only using like 3 colors. I have this base tone here, and so I guess I should show the colors really quick here. So that's that color. You can push pause if you want to see what color that is exactly, the numbers. And this is Photoshop. The other color I'm using is this color here. This is the pink color I shaded with. You can pause if you want. And then this is the really dark tone down in here in the neck and stuff. And then finally this brighter tone for the cheeks, for the blush. Right, so there we go, and a little bit for the nose. Okay. So starting with the lips, I'm going to make a new layer underneath the drawing layer. And I'm going to just use my eyedropper tool by holding down the Alt key and select the cheeks here. And the reason why I'm doing that is you can see the lips are pretty much the same color as the cheeks in this particular photo, but it's usually that way anyway unless they're wearing lipstick. I'm going to use my pen brush to fill in the lips. For those that don't know what the pen brush is, basically it works like, let's say, a good, kind of works like a paintbrush or like a good, with ink on it, a brush dipped in ink. So all you do is you just pick a hard round brush and set only the size to pen pressure. So this is a quick way to just kind of ink in what the base color. Now, drawing and painting are different, so what some people might actually attempt to do when they first start digital painting is they, look at a reference or not, and they actually try to, paint in each part. Like, I'm going to paint a little bit of dark here, a little bit of light here, a little bit dark here, a little bit medium here. They're trying to, like, draw it, and you can't, I guess you can try that, but it's not going to come out nice, and you're going to just frustrate yourself. So this is the method you want to do. You want to start building up. Start with your base colors and then build up around that. So I know that I'm going to have a lot of dark around here. Now this brush here is a hard round brush with opacity and opacity and size set to pen pressure. Now I'm going to paint in this kind of pinkish color all around the lips. Now I'm going to grab with my Alt key now, since those colors kind of mix together, because I don't want it to be too dark and I want it to blend in with the painting. So I'm just lightly doing this, but not too much because I don't want it to get muddy. Right, so okay, so that's how you start it. So now we got that's basically our shadows that we're going to have down there. You can also smooth this out with a soft brush if you wanted, if you didn't want those, brush strokes to be visible, but I want the brush strokes to be visible. I like it. It looks cool. Okay, so the next thing we need to do then is you got to think about what's the next shade you want to work with. Usually now at this point you're going to want to work with a slightly darker shade, and since the lighting in this photo is coming, I should probably put this on the top now, is coming from straight down pretty much instead of at an angle, you can see that it's going to be highlighting the highest part, so the highest part of the lips here and here, and it's going to be highlighting this cleft in here a little bit. This is another mountain I talk about. And then so the darkest parts are going to be in these corners here, where they usually always is, in the bottom of the lip there, and then the bottom down here as well. Then you have that reflected light I talked about in the drawing. You want to do this in stages, so usually the light part is the last part you want to do. So you do like the mid-tones or the dark, kind of a dark tone, then go in and work the darkest tone. Now when I work the darkest tone, I actually want to reduce my drawing way down so I can just barely see it, and I'm going to pick that dark tone here. So this is the color I'm going to be using. I'm going to use this brush has both size and opacity set to pin pressure. I want to draw in that darkest part there. I'll then finally go in with a really dark purplish color for the really dark parts, but I know all this under part here is going to be the darkest part of the lip, so I want to go ahead and get that in there now, like so. Notice also you're going to have a little bit of darkness in the bottom part too. The next thing I want to do is add a little bit of three-dimensionality to the lips, so I'm going to use a soft brush. And using this hard color, I'm going to just kind of push in the bottom part like so. And then I'm going to paint in the bottom part here and just kind of come up like that. Right, so. Now I'm going to go back to that same brush I was using before, and I'm going to pick this kind of color, but I want to make it really dark. Desaturated and dark. Not black though. You rarely ever use black. So you have this really dark corner here and here and here. So that's what we're going to want to emphasize. It's where the lips are kind of like overlapping there. Like that. Now also we know we're going to have this kind of dark line down here, but it's not really dark. It's actually pretty much that shade we already have there. And I haven't added the shading underneath, so maybe I should do that really quick first. That way we can, when you do the shading underneath first, I'm going to use a bigger brush. Just going to slightly put this shading underneath the lip. Right, so what this does, when you have the shading underneath the lip first, is it helps judge how light you want to make the light. But basically the light mark is going to be like this part of the nose up here. That's going to be this light line down here. I'm going to use this size 5. No, a little bit bigger. I want it to be pretty much the size, almost the size of the line, because I want to be able to do this with one stroke. Like that. So that's the reflected light. You might have a little bit of reflected light here and here. You don't have to follow the painting exactly. At this part here, I'm just kind of adding a little bit of that light. You're going to see that's going to actually wouldn't be hitting there. So I should probably take that out. I was going to add a little bit there to make it a little different, but I decided now I'm not going to do that. So let's make it out, and make sure you kind of add some lines, like a little bit of curve like this. And the reason why you want to do that is so it kind of brings out the shape of the lips. So that's where your brightest part's going to be, like that. Now remember, you have this line up here on the top that's usually always there. So let's go ahead and paint that in now. And I'm going to use a slightly lighter color, the almost part of the highlight of that nose up there. I'm also going to use this down here, but the reason why you do two tones on the bottom lip is because it looks cooler, and I'll show you what I mean in just a second. So I'm just going to kind of line the top of the lip right there. Might even want to tone that down just a bit. Alright, since I'm almost out of time, I'm going to have that timer up there. It shouldn't be a big deal that, it shouldn't distract you. I'm going to take this color here, and I'm just going to slightly push over to lighten up that up. Now I'll probably get rid of the line art just for now, just for doing the lips. Right, but this video is finished. Hopefully I can finish this up in part 2, so it'll just be a 2-part series as well for the painting of lips. Notice though, we're starting to get a real cool, realistic look here by building up rather than trying to paint each individual section like you're drawing or something. So don't paint like you draw. Go in layers and sections. Not layers necessarily, but one on top of the other. Okay, thank you for watching. Subscribe. Appreciate it.